What's good, everyone? How was your weekend? Welcome to this Monday episode. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Man, there are some news. There are some big players that have been released. Players that I've talked about could definitely help this Las Vegas Raiders organization. Also, I have three moves the Raiders need to make to become tender contenders in this year's NFL 2025 season. So, shout out to everybody. Man, how's everybody feeling? Some big names out there. Jaire Alexander, we'll get into that. We'll talk about it. I got 5 reasons also why he could really, really help this team. And then I got one reason, just one, why he couldn't. So stay tuned for that. We'll get into that very, very shortly. But man, let's talk about the free agents, right? There's some free agents out there. Where my list went. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so there's some free agent names out there. You know, guys like Russell Douglas, a corner, which we desperately need cornerback help, according to a lot of people. Asante Samuel Jr., I do believe, is still out there. You know, a guy that's had 26 pass breakups in his 4 years with the Chargers. I think that's more than our whole team has had in the last 2 years combined, possibly. Um, then you got a guy out there, like a Mike Hilton, 31 years of age, a guy you could bring in, could definitely, be the elder statesman in the room, be the leader of that room. Because right now, who is the leader? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you feel is the leader in the cornerback room? Is it Eric Stokes? Is it Jacorian Bennett? Is it Harper? Let me know. So, there's some guys we should go out there and look at, but I'm gonna give you three right off the rip that I believe, you know, make us playoff contenders, whether it's a wild card, most likely a wild card. Winning the division is gonna be absolutely, gonna have to have the best season that we ever had. The division is stacked. The Chargers offensive line is impenetrable, pause if necessary. The Broncos are just getting better and better. Teams we play in, teams we play throughout the season. The Texans just signed Nick Chubb, gonna be a problem. So I think we need to shore up some things on both sides of the ball. So I'm gonna give you my top three guys that I think, and some of them might not be available. I was kind of in a hurry. But I believe they all three still are. So right off the rip is let's probably put these glasses on. Um, actually, let's probably check this chat and make sure everything is good and I'm not fucked up. I have no chat. Hold up. There we go. Ray Love, what's good? Hawaiian Candy, appreciate you. Raider Ryan, what's good? What's good? Y'all can hear me. Everything's good. Sweet. I'll go back to what I was saying. You know, oh, come on, man. Stay with the program here. So, right off the rip is a guy that I would go after is Julian Blackman, safety, right? We have IPM. We have, Jeremy Chin that we brought in, but we don't know where Jeremy Chin's going to play, right? Is he going to be free safety? Obviously not. He's going to be that strong safety, that guy that plays in the box, pause if necessary. You know, that guy that's trying to get penetration in the backfield, stop the run. A guy that you can use at that linebacker spot, a guy that you can use in the, in the free, the club cover the slot corner, the slot position. So Jeremy Chin's going to be moved around a lot. The rest of the guys, is Lonnie Johnson? Is he going to be mainly special teams? Is he going to play safety? Has he played any at corner during camp? We don't know. So a lot of questions still have to be answered. But I believe Julian Blackman is a guy that comes in and helps the safety room. You know, 27 years old, been around a little bit. He's had 3 interceptions in 2024 and 7 interceptions in the last 2 years. Now, if you look at the Raiders, minus 16 turnover percentage last year, And, you know, pretty much any year you want to look back at it, we just haven't been a team that forces or create turnovers. We don't have the guys back there. And I think Julian Blackman would be a guy that would definitely, sure up that spot, right? Um, there's post and deep half range on tape. So we've seen that. He also had 85 tackles in each of the past 2 seasons. So that's a guy, I believe could come in and help this safety room. But then again, you can only keep four, right? And that's a question. That's a big problem. Who gets cut? Do they make it to the practice squad? Does somebody come steal one of these young guys away that we don't have a chance to develop? That's a big question. Another guy that I'm not sure if he's still out there, but I'm pretty sure he is. Um, according to Over the Cap as of today, is Kazir White, linebacker out of the Arizona Cardinals, right? He's an off the ball linebacker, which we kind of need if Amari Gainer's not going to be that guy, if Devin White's not, can't be that guy. Tommy Eichenberg and Cody Lindenberg are more of a Mike linebacker, kind of run the team. We had ECG on the show, a couple nights ago, and he says Landon Roberts is more, of a will linebacker. He's more of that, outside outside linebacker guy more than he is a Mike linebacker. Is that going to be a problem? Do we have a true Mike linebacker? Um, so that wouldn't help that situation much. But at 29, right? He's an off the ball linebacker. He had 9 tackles for a loss and 2.5 sacks last season. His pursuit speed to tackle the ball on the edges. He also has 6 interceptions along with 16 pass breakups in his career. So, that's a guy that obviously can cover one of the questions we have, getting to the edges, being able to keep up with these fast, explosive, strong, freakish running backs, some of them in our division, and a lot of them that we play this year. We're going to play a lot of damn good running backs. And our weakest link, no, this ain't a show. You are the weakest link. But however, our weakest link has been the middle of the field, has been stopping the run, whether it's our defensive line, which obviously, that's the front line. So if they get past the defensive line, that's a problem with the defensive line. If they get past our linebackers, that's a bigger problem. When you guys got guys like, Trayvon Moreg that had 117 tackles, I do believe, last year, there's a reason for that. One reason was he did, play that strong safety role up in the box a lot, positive necessary. Some people like to play in the box. I know I always did. Um, so when you have a safety making that many tackles, there's a reason, right? There's a reason. Most of it's probably he got past the first line of defense, second line of defense. He also had a lot of assisted tackles. So that's a linebacker, Kazir White, I think, could come in, could help. He's 29 years old. He has the experience, but he still has, like I said, the speed to get to the outside, to cover the edges. 16 pass breakups for a linebacker in your career. I guess, 29. I don't know. I didn't break down all the stats. Don't know how long he's been in the NFL. However, it couldn't hurt, right, to bring in a guy that I believe his cap on over the cap was $5 million, which if he got cut, it ain't going to be that, right? So it's worth bringing in just for camp to check it out. And my third guy that I believe would help this team massively is Will Hernandez, guard. You know, he came off a knee injury. Uh, a knee injury cut Hernandez in 2024, right? How good is that knee? Is he healthy? But the only way you find out is you bring in a guy in camp and you see what he is. The season was cut short after 5 games. The veteran guard had a pass block win rate of 94% in each of the past 3 seasons. That's something we haven't had in any season in the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. Come on. a 94% win rate in the last 3 seasons, bro. This is a guy that coming off injury, I believe, is still out there according to Pia, over the cap. But also, he's a physical run blocker. We need physical run blockers. We just signed Ashton Genty, right? Picks or just picked him, signed him, sixth overall, signed him to a contract. There's a lot of expectations. You have guys like Marcus Allen saying, when they were taking pictures together, he took pictures with Jim Plunkett, he took pictures with Marcus Allen, and I and Fred Biletnikoff. All three were Super Bowl MVPs, I do believe. And Marcus Allen looked at the crowd and said, "This could be the fourth." That's a lot of pressure for a young man at Ashton Genty to say this could be the fourth, Super Bowl MVP, which I mean, aren't we all hoping to God he is, right? Like, I know I am. So I don't know about y'all. But I'm telling you, bro, his footwork on contact and his power pops on tape. Still at age 30, he could be a starter, you know, but it's an injury coming off an injury that cost him a season. Could he get back to that playing form? But it's worth the money to go check out, man. To me, 100%. 94%, pass blocking win rate. That gives Geno Smith time to throw the ball. When you have time to throw the ball, that gives receivers time to get open. We've seen it flip flopped over and over again for the last couple years, right? Other teams' quarterbacks having way too long to throw the ball. Even if we do get pressure, it still ends up in big plays because we don't have the guys to cover them. I believe Will Hernandez, Kazir White, and Julian Blackman. If you bring in those guys, I believe we have still $31 million on the cap. You can bring all those guys. You can pay some of them guaranteed 1-year prove it deals. And I believe it makes us a contender, right? It makes us a strong contender. Will Hernandez shores up the right side where you have a rookie and Caleb Rogers, battling Alex Kappa. Who wins that? Do you put a guy like Hernandez in right away? He not only, if he wins the job, helps DJ Glaze, but he also helps a rookie in Jackson Powers Johnson, right? You got a guy that's, a seasoned vet in the last 3 years. Like I said, 94% win rate, pass blocking. That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. That would shore up this offensive line, in my opinion. That would make our run game, a lot better. It would change a lot of things for this team. So, Yoshi, what's good? Appreciate you popping in. Damn, ain't nobody trying to get peeps over here, Rebel. Man, it's all good. It is what it is. Also, I believe on Europe show our Raider Nation family, which is Navman's channel. They're doing a fundraiser for somebody they know, somebody in the nation that's kids graduating military school, and the family can't afford to be at the graduation. So, if y'all could pop over there, maybe help out, that would be awesome. Raider Menace, what's good? What's good? So yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. What do you think about those three guys? Do you bring them in? Do you give them a chance, right? Also, I believe a guy that we talked about 4 or 5 days ago when I was talking about free agents the Raiders needed to bring in to help us be playoff contenders, was a guy like Pratt, right? Out of Cincinnati Bengals, the captain, the linebacker. No, I believe Mike linebacker, right? The middle guy that runs the show was released. That would be a huge, huge pickup, to bring in just for competition. And if he made the team, could you imagine, Pratt? Could you imagine Pratt with E-Rob, with Amari Gainer subbing in? I think we could have a special linebacker group, right? Instead of a linebacker group that a lot of people are questioning. Um, then safety wise, I believe you still got guys like Justin Simmons out there. That's $7.5 million, somewhere in there, probably less. Played 91.4% of the snaps last year and got let go. I don't know how that happens, but you know, what do y'all feel about the free agents? What's good? What's good, Rosetown? Appreciate you popping in. Dude can't play 10 games. Who? What dude? Which dude, Andres? Which dude? Let me pull that up. You know, you never know though. It could have been freak accidents. If you're talking about Jaire Alexander, he hasn't stayed healthy. He hasn't been healthy one time in his career. That's a problem, right? He's had shoulder injuries. I believe he's had a foot injury. He's had a broken hand but he only stayed out a game. So the guy's played with injuries. He's been questionable. He hasn't been out a lot of these games. He's missed games, but he was questionable in a lot of games that he played in, injured. So, um, right. So Alexander, man, he has the heart. And we can get the Jair right off the rip. I got no reason to keep anybody waiting. Yeah, so I got five reasons. Five reasons I believe you take a chance at Jair Alexander. Now, actually, probably more than that, but I'm gonna give you a couple that I wrote down and a couple I just thought of off the top of my head. If you bring this guy in and he stays healthy, just think of that. If he stays healthy, he's a lockdown corner in the NFL. He also runs punt and kickoff returns, explosive in that category. Now, coming off all the injuries, do you risk that? Probably not. But if you can get a top corner when healthy in the NFL, a lockdown man corner, which I'll get to that in a minute, at half price, at a 50% discount or less, on a 1 year prove it deal. And if he doesn't stay healthy, you just cut him. Or because obviously he's not going to stay healthy, right? Obviously there's an issue, which it's pretty obvious to me there is an issue with that. But on the other hand, if you can bring in a guy like Jaire Alexander, a 2-time Pro Bowler, a lockdown corner when healthy, still has the footwork, the hip work, the backpedaling. So, from what I heard and from what I've seen out there, he looks pretty damn good. He's been working out, you know, but he looked that way last year and the year before, right? Coming into camp. So there's a reason they let him go. Is it because they have a bunch of young guys behind him and they don't want to pay him that money? That's pretty much obvious, the obvious reason to me. But if this man, you know, could just get back to half his form or even play half the games, that's still 8 or 9 games. We have a shut down, lockdown corner, right? Now, we play a lot of zone. Is that going to be a problem? Can he switch over? Or can you just be like, okay, everybody else plays zone and you just go lock down the best receiver on, in every game? That could happen too. So, Pete Carroll's defense expertise, man, this is reason number one. Carroll has a history of building elite secondaries, most notably the Legion of Boom, right, in Seattle. His ability to coach up defensive backs and manage strong personalities, make him ideal coach for Alexander. There's no doubt about it. That's just all facts. Number two, the Raiders need a number one corner again. Now I can't think of anybody that's really been a number one lockdown, you know, corner since Casey Hayward. And some people are gonna be like, "Come on, man!" But go back and look at the year. Look at the stats. Look at the touchdowns that he gave up. Look at the catches he gave up. He was a lockdown corner, no doubt about it. So since Casey Hayward, I don't remember anybody, since then that's been a lockdown guy. So the Raiders need very badly somebody to step up and be that number one guy. Now, is it Darian Porter Jr.? I believe it is. Is it this year? I believe he's better than everybody out there. I said that as soon as we drafted him. Go back and watch the tape. You know, I said this guy was going to be number one, and it wasn't going to take long. The pads haven't come on yet. That's a big question. When the pads come on, who is this man? I believe he's the same person. You know, I think Darian Porter is going to impress even more when the pads come on. This is just my assumption. The man could tackle. He showed that it shows on film, right? He has the speed to recover. He can make plays. His athletic ability is off the charts. I believe the man is special. But do we really want to, put that pressure on him right away to be the number one guy? You know, I don't. And I'm sure Pete Carroll doesn't either. And I'm sure, Patrick Graham doesn't either. So, with that being said, the Raiders lack a true lockdown corner. Their secondary struggled last year, posting the worst coverage grade in the NFL. So not only did we have the worst run game in the NFL, but we had the worst coverage grade in the NFL. That's a lot of recovering. A lot of recovering. Uh, um, Alexander would immediately step in as their top defensive back. There's no question about it. No question about it. Now, he's healthy coming into camp. How long, if you do bring in this man, is he your number one back? As long as he's healthy, right? As long as he's healthy. To me, as long as the man stays healthy, he's our number one back until until Darius Porter develops. Also, he knows Eric Stokes. He's played with Eric Stokes. Now they both been injured, so it probably didn't get a lot of time on the field together. I don't know how much, really. That's probably a good question. How much time they did get on the field together. But you have two guys that know each other, know a little bit about each other's tendencies. I'm sure they had practice time together enough to know what each other are doing, thinking a little bit. That's another, huge reason, but that's not even that's all number two. Number three, complementary pieces already in place. Well, fuck, I guess I should have read this first. The Raiders have added Eric Stokes and drafted Darian Porter, but neither has proven to be number one, right? No pads have come on. You don't know what these guys are going to be. You don't know what they're going to be in game time. You don't know how offensive coordinators are going to try to exploit, a young corner like Darius Porter or a guy like Alexander who hasn't stayed healthy, right? You need a guy, I mean, not Alexander, but you need a guy like, a guy like Stokes. How much these guys are smart, right? Offensive coordinators know how to take advantage of guys. They know guys' weaknesses. They know who to attack, right? They know who your weakest link on your defensive is. They know damn well Darian Porter's a rookie, and a lot of teams are going to test him right off the rip. Now, I feel it won't be for long. They're not going to be testing this man for long. His athleticism is going to show why. So I believe that. But Alexander would provide stability and leadership to a young secondary, right? We have guys like Jacorian Bennett. We have Darian Porter. You know, we have Sam Webb. We have Harper. We have guys that are going to compete. Yes, we're probably only keeping 6, but some have to be on the practice squad. There's 18 more guys you have to keep on your practice squad. How many on defense? I don't know. How many on offense? I don't know. But is it 9-9? Is it 7-10? Who knows? 7-8? Whatever. I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments. Um, but that's number three. He gives you that. Number four, the win now mentality, right? With the Raiders trading for Geno, they've signaled they've signaled their intent to compete immediately, right? Adding Alexander would strengthen their defense and would help them contend in a tough AFC West division, which we definitely need. We were 0-6 last year in a division. We need all the help we can get. If a guy like Alexander, like I said, even if it's for half a season, or even if it's for 4 games and he misses a game and plays another 3 and misses a game and then finishes out the season, whatever it is, it's worth the money to me. To me. But if only if he fits in, right? Could you put him at the slot and have a crazy shutdown slot guy that could cover guys like Brock Bowers, at the tight end position? If you got guys like that on the other side, would make this defense extremely, extremely, you know, just extremely more nasty, in my opinion. Um, then pass rush synergy. The Raiders already have an elite pass rusher in Max Crosby. A stronger secondary would allow Crosby and the defensive front to generate even more pressure, making the defense even more dangerous, right? If you know the guys behind you are lockdown corners, that you just have to go do your job, get to the quarterback, right? Get in his face, get pressure, make him make stupid decisions. If you know you got guys back there that even if you make a mistake and you still, get pressure on the quarterback and he steps up and makes a throw, you got guys back there that can defend it, right? That can make plays on the ball. They could take it to the house. We all know Alexander brings all of that. So if Alexander stays healthy, man, he could be the key to transforming this Raiders defense, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what y'all think about Alexander. And of course, like I said, I'm gonna give you, of course, the biggest reason. Bueno, what's good? What's good? 401 Jeff. Um, Ozine, what to do? What to do? I'm gonna give you the biggest reason why I believe you don't bring in. I gave you 5, probably 7 by the time I was done, or 8 reasons why you do bring in a guy like, Alexander. But again, I'm gonna give you my top one. Marcus Banks, what's good? Appreciate you. And then probably a couple more. So the main one, obviously, I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to know it's the injuries, right? If the man can stay healthy, there's no problem. But the biggest risk is injuries. The second is, how does he fit in a Patrick Graham system? I believe it's a perfect Pete Carroll match, but in a cover 3, right? Cover 2, running a lot of zone. Does it work out with a guy that's, pretty much a man shut down, man corner? Furpo was good. Salute my guy. Raiders. So let me know, man. What y'all think? What y'all think? It's what to what? Oh, why does he always got to be brought up? Every combo, every combo. Yeah, appreciate y'all dropping in, man. So let me get back to this chat, catch up. Stokes was good for 1 year. I probably should have got to the top, but a lot of people in here didn't see. All right. Um, got to that, got to that, got to that. Pigs, appreciate you, my guy. Didn't see you. Appreciate you dropping in. At this point, I want to see what we have. I'd probably sign some guys at cut day, but obviously that depends on who's cut. I mean, I feel the same way. I want to see what we have. I want to see Pete Carroll's development, right? That is the main reason we brought him in. Consistency, knowledge, you know, besides the culture change, is development. We know he's going to bring in guys because he's proven. He has a track record, a proven track record. If you look at the Legion of Boom, mainly Pete Carroll drafted guys, right? You know, with Jaire Alexander, like dude, this dude he brought in you know, a lot of guys on that squad that were drafted that were UDFAs. Some trades, but a lot of them were in house. So, I want to see the development, but to develop guys, you have to have somebody that has that leadership, that has that knowledge, that's been to the playoffs, right? That has, experience in the NFL, that's seen every deep, offense, that can help these young guys not just be football players, but you know, how to be leaders, right? How to be leaders out there, how to be good characters. Developmental is, it's part of the NFL. Most teams that are consistently in the playoffs draft well, and then they keep those guys. They develop them. They get better. They get more guys. They draft more guys. They develop them, right? They're not constantly trading for big name free agents unless they feel like they're only, one or two guys away and this guy is going to change everything for them. So that's my opinion with that. Is that for real about Jaire, even if he had injury issues? Yeah, I mean, he was cut. So, no, a lot of people are saying still, you know, go trade for Jalen Ramsey. I don't understand that. I mean, I do. I get it. Jalen Ramsey's going to help this defense also. And I said it before. If he doesn't play safety, you put him at corner. There's a lot of people talking about that now, saying you can move the guy around. He's gonna fill in a spot somewhere. If he's not your outside corner, he could play slot. He could play safety. I mean, you can put him at a lot of places. He's a guy like Charles Woodson, has the athleticism still, has the speed. You can move him around. So trading for a guy means you give up draft capital or you give up players on your team. Now, depending on who those players are, I'm not willing to give up guys that have a chance to develop and be somebody for a guy that's not going to be here in the future, right? If you get into Jalen Ramsey, if you bring in a Jaire Alexander, is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? Do they make it 3 or 4 years? Do you bring them in for a 1 year contract, which obviously that's the way to go? But then, if they flash, if they become that guy, if they become that lockdown guy, if they become a leader in the locker room, a guy in the community, do you sign those guys? That hurts the development of the guys we've drafted, in my opinion. Stokes and Porter are better right now. Okay. He was overpaid 84 mil. I'm not arguing that, bro. That's a lot of money. Surprised, who isn't here. Salute Jeff, what's good? Um, Best corner in the draft, Darian Porter. Man, I hope the guy he was. I'm not gonna go that far. I was high on um Siobhan Revel. I was high on Trey Amos. I think Jade Barron, you know, is the best corner. But that's looking at, film, but a lot looking at their numbers, right? How many snaps they played. When you look at Darian Porter, the snap count is a problem. The NFL is a different beast. We all know that. It's you can't even explain the difference between college and the NFL, right? It's unexplainable. That's why there's so many guys that fail when they make it to the NFL, right? They're done in a year, 2 years, some of them maybe 3 years. It's a lot to pick up. But when you have the athleticism and the speed of Darian Porter Jr. and the intelligence, like all the coaches have been saying, it's not his speed, it's not his traits. It's, the way he carries himself, his humbleness, his character, his intelligence, how much he knows football. That's a damn good sign for us. Damn good sign. Seems like Raiders defense was at an all-time low. When? No thank you on Alexander, Jeff says. Okay. Rather have Bruno playing. Okay, okay. Um, Defense was on the field more than our offense. Yeah, I mean, when you have a lot of 3-and-outs, or you have a decent drive and then turn the ball over, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Damn, bro, I just got 80,000 views and it was all stupid trolls. Well, don't send them over here. You can keep your 80,000 views. I entered my live because they were stupid. Shout out to Hawaiian Candy. What's good? What's good? Number one, ability is availability. Man, I preach that. You learn that here. I'm just kidding. And Alexander does not have that. You know, and not defending the man, not defending and not arguing, not arguing. But I will say to that Eric Stokes also has had that same issue. Lonnie Johnson has also had that same issue. Eric Stokes played 17 games last year for the first time in his career. So there could be a chance that in a different organization, maybe he wasn't happy there. It's the NFL, and I don't want to say this about anybody, but there are guys that were on our team that said they were hurt an awful lot and weren't really hurt, right? One got traded for a third-round pick, went to the team and played right away. Supposed to have a horrible hamstring injury, can't get out there. So, I'm just saying, there might have been some of that, Jalen Ramsey, Miami drama going on with some of these teams, which I don't know why there'd be a drama when you pay that dude that much money. But, people make bad decisions all the time, Jaire only played in a couple of games. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Definitely ridiculous. He sells out. Well, if that's the case, then no. 23, 24, 17 games each. I get it. He hasn't stayed healthy. But you know what I say all the time, right? You know what I always preach on this channel is, were your injuries for effort, or were your injuries from lack of effort? Because guys get hurt half stepping, right? Not going 120%, out there, not trying to make a tackle, right? And get rolled up on, or, should have just tackled the guy, been on the ground instead, they were half stepping and, got hit from behind or rolled up from behind, got hit in an awkward position. A shoulder injury to me as a corner, like Jacorian Bennett, tells me you were trying to come lay the lumber, right? That's not an injury I'm going to be pissed off about, right? A back injury that, for Jaire, that could have been anything. A broken hand, right? These are injuries, but they're injuries because the man plays hard. The man plays aggressive, right? He's given it 120%. There's a reason he's a two-time Pro Bowler, even with all those injuries and not, being out there, being able to be out there all the time. So if you can put him in better situations, right? If he's not the only guy, because let's face it, Green Bay's defense just started getting good. They've added a couple pieces here and there over the last couple years. They've drafted a couple key players, but their offense was good. Their defense just wasn't really great. And, he was a big part of that defense, asked to do an awful lot. And then there is the fact, like I said, that he was running punt returns, I do believe also. So, injuries, like I said, could be a lot of things. But if it's for a guy, um, given effort, the only thing you can knock is, is he fragile, right? Does he not have the body to go out there and do the things he's trying to do? Then that's a problem. I get it. But for the price, when you have the money we have on the books, if he fits the system, you bring him in for a workout, whatever it is you do, um, and just see, right? Because if the man is healthy, he's a lockdown corner. He's a guy, better than anybody on our defense right now. And I know we have guys that need development, but what better way to develop them, than a veteran? Of course, not a guy that's been hurt all the time. How much are they going to listen to him? Don't forget to hit that like. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Oh, here we go. Pete Carroll's going to turn the Raiders into a winning team. First 7 games. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I think we got a shot. I talked about it. The Chargers. They play Kansas City. They play us, and then they play the Donkeys. And the people want to say the NFL did us dirty. Come on, man. You got to. What team starts out? Can you name me a team? Somebody find out. Somebody Google it, please. Ask this question. What team has ever started out playing all 3 games in their division in their first 3 games? It's got to be the first time. I can't remember anybody getting that shitty of a schedule. So, the Chargers have a rough schedule this year, not like the 26th weakest schedule they had. The Broncos have a rough schedule, but they're getting better. Kansas City, rough schedule. We have a chance to make noise. We have a chance to make noise. And if we do it early, shit, that's even better. Jalen Ramsey would be a great fit to the Raiders defense. But would he, though? Lawrence, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling up. But would Jalen Ramsey really be a great fit? I mean, there's been plenty of questions, right, about the what happened with the Rams? Was it really just a money issue? If not, why don't they bring him back? There's a little bit of question with Ramsey. Can he still be that lockdown corner? Do you have to move him to safety? Does he have the speed to still be that guy? His snaps counts going down, down, down. His tackles were down, I believe, last year, weren't they? You get paid lots of money, and then shit happens. What do we got? No more trading for guys that get injured and end up taking up a valuable roster spot. Let's develop our own talent. I hear you. Shout out to that, man. Shout out to that. That makes all the sense in the world. Darian Porter was hardly productive at Iowa State. His production numbers were somewhat low. His production numbers were low because nobody targeted him. They tried targeting him in the first 3 games. Go watch. And then people stopped throwing to him. Offensive coordinator said, "What the hell? Don't throw on this side, bro." And it was his first year. He's a wide receiver, switching the corner. So there's a reason everybody in camp and everybody is talking about the Raiders being better. And mainly, it's guys like Darian Porter, right? It's guys like Dante Thornton Jr. We got a lot of juniors on this team. Dante Thornton Jr., Darius Porter Jr., These are guys making splashes, making noise. Caleb Rogers. If we got 3 starters out of this draft again, dude, come on, man. This team has to be special. With the leadership we got, yeah, for 10 more days till I can fix my name. He got fun. Shout out to I'm Not Bruno in the building. LOL, Stokes was happy there. Nah, man, he was good. Um, he was good for one, and after that, he was a dud. It's a lot of these players, man. A lot of these players. But if he was only good for 1 year, how do you make 2 Pro Bowls? Things that make you go, Bennett, Richardson, and Porter, I'm cool with. Let the young corners get their burn. Well, we've seen the stat, right? I mean, we're adding guys, but we're losing guys like Nate Hobbs, who was damn good in the slot, was arguably one of our best corners last year. Playing that tough role where you're asked to do an awful lot. We add Eric Stokes. We still have Sam Webb, who's, learning on the fly. So we have a lot of questions. Jacorian Bennett, from what I hear, like I keep saying, has been, moved to the second team defense. It's Eric Stokes and Darian Porter taking all those snaps. Now we have the question, who's going to play slot? Who's covering the slot? Now they got Eric Stokes playing in the slot. Now they're trying IPM, Isaiah Pau-Mau, in the slot. There seems to be a question of who's going to be the slot guy on this defense. You can't have that going into camp. We need that solidified. We need that guy that's going to be in that position, taking as many reps with the first team defense as possible. Get that camaraderie. Learn those guys. It's too late in the season to be subbing guys in and out. Yes, guys are going to get their chances. Yes, they have to get their reps. But it's to the point now where your main guys have to get more of the snaps, right? The guys that are showing up, the guys that are flashing, the guys that are creating plays, the guys that know where they're supposed to be, that are helping other guys. Those are the guys you want to see the most out of. Those are the guys you want to see when the pads come on get the most snaps. At least I do. I don't, these guys that aren't out there making plays, that aren't doing anything, I don't want to see just keep getting, play after play. I want to see the guys that are doing shit get better. And the only way to do that is to get as many snaps as possible. So I believe in Bennett. I like Decamerion Richardson. I've said that many times. I think he did a lot of good things last year. Darian Porter, I would be happy, like you said, going with those 3. Let Decamerion Richardson, play the slot. Put Porter and Bennett on the outside. I just think when you got bigger guys back there that fits, more of Pete Carroll's style, that they're trying to go with these bigger guys. But let the best man win. That's all I'm caring about. And that's all any of us should care about, right? That should be the point here, is if this coaching staff with Pete Carroll, right, with Marcus Robinson as corner coach, if these guys feel that it should be Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, and Jacorian Bennett, or, Jacorian Bennett and Darian Porter and DCam, or Harper and Bennett and, Darian Porter playing the slot, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, because for once, I'm not questioning, and I probably never did, but I'm not going, damn, I probably, have studied these guys more, know more about these guys than the coaches that they're bringing in, right? Because as content creators, that's what we do. So since the guys have been drafted, we've been, constantly talking about these guys. We're not on the field with them, but shit, we watch them play, right? We know. So for a new coach coming in, right, they don't know a lot about these guys, which makes it hard. Stokes was like that in Green Bay. He was a dud in his first year, few years with the Packers, and now he's coming out. And now he's coming out, and some say he's looked damn good, right, in a Raider uniform under Pete Carroll. Sometimes it only takes a coach to believe in you, like Pete Carroll says. Sometimes it only takes that guy to show you a couple things like, man, I watched your film, or, I'm watching you right now. And if you just turn your hips this way, or if you just, turn your head this split second, right? Or if you just beat this guy off the line with your hands, you know, if you just backpedal for this long and then turn your hips, but turn your hips to the right way instead of, turn your hips to the sideline where you can't see the quarterback. Why turn your hips and look back if you're looking, looking the wrong side, or, if it takes you longer to turn this way and you're already running? To me, it's faster to turn that way than to try to turn all the way around and then turn your body back around. So just small shit like that. If you could teach these guys like Pete Carroll is going to, bro, it's going to make a big, big difference. Raider Jeff says grab Ramsey. So what are you trading for him then? Because you can't just grab him, right? Has he been released yet? Did they officially release him? I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to try to get something for him. They're working on deals, right? They want something for him. They're not just going to give him up. Are the Raiders willing to give up a fourth round, a third round? I'm not. I'm not. I'd much rather take my chances. We're in Vegas, right? We're in Vegas. Put your cards on the table, roll your damn dice, and let's see what we got with Jaire Alexander. Or go a different way. Like I said, there's other guys out there, right? There's other guys out there. You could go. What was I saying? You can go. Mike Hilton at corner, which is another 31-year-old, veteran. Here, let's read. Let me click this real quick. Mike Hilton. All right. Yeah, Mike Hilton, Cincinnati Bengals last year, is a slot corner who plays with a sense of urgency, right? Reminds me a little bit of a Nate Hobbs. Plays with a sense of urgency. He had 12 tackles for a loss and 8 pressures last season. 12 tackles for a loss and 8 pressures last season. As a corner, so the man can blitz. He can cover the run, unlike Jacorian Bennett hasn't been able to do for us. Unlike Jack Jones hasn't been able to do for us. Nate Hobbs was pretty much our run stopper when it came to the corner spot, and was our slot guy. So we have that. He has a natural feel for playing in space as a covers defender with aggressive mentality to tackle and blitz off the edge. In 8 seasons, Hilton has 13 interceptions, 11.5 sacks, and 34 pass breakups. 34 pass breakups. It's a free agent. You ain't got to trade for him. Those numbers are, pretty damn good, bro. Pretty damn good. That's more pass breakups than anybody on our team, than probably 3 people on our team has had, in the last 2 years. We have had people make a lot of plays. Asante Samuel, I believe, is still out there. Still has that play making ability. Asante Samuels has had 6 interceptions and 26 pass breakups in 4 years with the Chargers. These are guys that can still play, right? Rasul Douglas, another vet you can bring in. Douglas is a physical corner with the length to disrupt the ball and the willingness to set the edge against the run. Sounds like a Pete Carroll guy to me. 5 tackles for a loss last season. That's more than all our corners, I think, had combined. Um, he's an easy fit in a zone system, which we play a lot of, that allows him to reroute underneath and attack the ball from the outside third of the field. Douglas returned one of his 5 interceptions for a touchdown in 2023 and had 5 pass breakups last season. Another veteran guy that we can bring in on the cheap, way less, way less. So, there's 3 guys right there. Rasul Douglas, Asante Samuel, Mike Hilton, right? Which those are all still available. I should probably make sure. When was this? Yeah, as of 4 days ago. So unless somebody signed them very, very in the last couple days, they're still available. And again, in case y'all missed it in the beginning, I talked about the three key pieces I think that we need to go after to make us contenders. It's guard Will Hernandez coming off a knee injury. We can get him on the cheap, but he was a 94% win uh, pass blocking rate. He had a 94% win rate in pass blocking last year, and he's also a physical run blocker, which we don't have. So that you bring in Kazir White, another linebacker, and a Julian Blackman, I think that sets us up for, to contend not only in the AFC, but the AFC, the AFC West, but the AFC, which just keeps getting stronger and stronger because, like I said, the Texans went out and signed Nick. That's going to be a problem. We play them. They got 2 running backs that can, wear and tear our players, put a beating on us. Um, we have to get better at some positions, definitely. Jeff, I thought we were going live today. Uh, yeah, he was on earlier with Jay. Packers defense has gotten better. They have some new additions. Here, put this shit up. They have some new additions on the team. They're gonna rack up on defense in 2025. Yeah, that team's gotten better all around. I'm just saying, when you have a opportunity, hurt or not, and like I said, if they're injuries because when you're not giving 110%, it's a lot more likely you're going to get injured right off the bat. Not giving it 110% out there. So the injuries that Jaire Alexander got, injuries, right? They're not non-contact injuries. And it's a physical sport. Guys are going to get beat up, especially when you're a corner, man. These guys are some of the smallest guys out there, right? Under 200 pounds, a lot of them 6 foot, 6'1". You're going against some beast, some mammoth dudes. And for a guy like Jaire who's blitzing a lot, if you get picked up by a 320-pound right tackle or left tackle, whatever side you're on, trying to blitz, and that dude gets a hold of you, gets a good lick on you, yeah, somebody's getting hurt. That tells me you don't have your notifications on. Oh, bueno. Oh, you got caught. Uh, so you believe, wait, so you don't believe the Raiders haven't gotten better with Pete Carroll as their, wait. So you don't believe the Raiders haven't gotten better? I don't get the question. I believe the Raiders have got way better with Pete Carroll as their head coach. It was corner, yeah, first year. But you don't come in and impress in the NFL in your first year as a rookie, drafted in the 3rd round, when you've only played that spot 1 year in college football. You don't come in and turn heads like you're doing. And it's not just, in the organization. He's wowing people outside of the organization, right? Reporters from other, from the news and, other places, wherever people are, getting their information from. There's a lot of talk. It's not just coming from what we're reporting, right? There's talk going around ESPN. You got Shannon Sharp talking about this guy. You got um Colin Cowherd. You know, you got all these guys bringing up this young man's name, and it wasn't because he was drafted in the third round, right? Same thing with Dante Porter. Unleashed Raider was good. Appreciate you. Dante Porter making waves out there, making a lot of good catches, turning a lot of heads with his blocking ability, with his route running that a lot of people said he didn't have a route tree. A fourth round guy out there turning heads. That's huge for this team, bro. That's huge. Most of us already figured our first, second, third rounders, which didn't we pick three people in the third round, right? Two offensive linemen and a corner. Like most of us think those guys should be playing sometime in a year, you know, our next year right away. They should be ready to go. And if you get guys, in the fourth round that come in and contribute right off the bat, and you got guys in the sixth round contributing on defense or offense, man, that's huge for us. That's huge for us. What does this say? We spent the last 24 years looking for quick fixes. We've got a new coach, new at GM, winning team, build through the draft, play the players we've got. Well said. Well said, my guy Lawrence. I mean, I agree with that 100%. And I mean, I don't think there's one day I have failed, except for today. We've been live an hour and I haven't brought it up. John Spytek played for the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers was the vice, um, assistant general manager amongst a lot of other positions with the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Tampa Bay Bucks have 43 players on their roster the last 2 years out of 53 that were drafted in house. When you have stats like that from a guy who's learned like that and is now your GM, to me, it just makes all the sense in the world. So, yeah, I agree with you. Play the players we got. Member for 3 months. What? Shout out to you. Why does it keep going away? I don't know what's going on. Weird. Why is it showing up? Shout out to Unleashed Rebels. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Wait. Oh. Unleashed Raider. Unleashed Rebels message salute. Oh. All right. That's what fucked me up. But shout out. Shout out. 3 months. Hell yeah. I think that's as long as I've been monetized. You've been a member from the rip. I appreciate you, man, from the bottom of my heart. That means a lot, seriously. Seriously, Stokes was a dude in Green Bay. He was missing a lot of tackles and couldn't make pass deflections. I mean, all right, well, let's go. Here, let me start this. All right, let me get through the rest of these. Lauren speaking nothing but truth, right? I agree 100%. Stokes won't ever win a Super Bowl. He may have had a couple Pro Bowls, but won't ever win any Super Bowls. I mean, we don't know what Stokes is going to do. If he's playing for the Raiders, he could possibly win a Super Bowl. He could still be on the team and not be a starter and win, right? Like I said before, why did I put this up? There we go. Like I said before, when we trade for elite players or big name players, they always underperform during their time with the Raiders. Shout out to my guy Furpo. Knows exactly what he's saying. Now Nate Hobbs is a Packer. Yep. Horrible. Furpo facts, bro. That money to pay guys that come up with us. I get that. I agree with you guys 100%. But I'm gonna disagree on the fact that we don't have a veteran, man. Harper is not our vet, bro. Like, um, hey, let me start this right here. Walt, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up in the building. All those guys are available for a reason. But what is that reason? Is it because they couldn't afford to pay him? Is it because they drafted a rookie that they think could be up and coming to take their place? Are they trying to go faster? Are they, trying to go bigger, faster, stronger, harder? A lot of questions. Don't want to win this year or next year. 10 years, I'm tired of this microwave mentally, the crockpot type of fan, slow and steady. I get that, man. I just don't think the coaches do, my brother. So, you know, I agree with you to an extent, but we're building for the future. We're building for the future right now. Why can't we build for the future and win now? Why can't you bring in guys for a year? That's not going to hurt us, right? And if, like I said, if he is that guy, then re-sign him. You can still develop these guys. You can put them on practice squads. You could sign guys, to future contracts, right? And put them on IR if you really have to do shit like that. So there's ways we can keep a lot of these guys and not lose all the talent. Don't play them a lot in the preseason. If you see a lot of guys that you think should be out there not playing in the preseason, there's a reason. They want to put them on the practice squad and they don't want nobody trying to snatch them up. If you don't have tape in the preseason, not too many people are going to come calling unless they seen something in college that they think maybe the Raiders missed. So, I mean, I agree with that. Build for the future, but I also agree that we can build for the future and win now. There's no reason we have to be, mediocre. I would rather, honestly, I would rather be 4-13 again than to be 8-8. Like everybody's saying we're gonna end up, with 7 wins, 8 wins. Fuck that. Fuck 7, 8 wins, bro. I'm not down for that. If we can't win 10 games and make a playoff run, then rebuild, rebuild. Put in Aiden O'Connell. Let him play. Like we should have never went and got Geno Smith. That's the way I feel. If you pay somebody 66 fucking $1 million, they should come in and win you games, and you should compete with a guy that's making $66 million guaranteed in his pocket with never even playing a game. I don't want to be 8-8. I don't want to be mediocre and get a shitty ass draft pick, in the 20s or in the teens. No, hell with that, bro. Hell with that. Let's go win now. Go get the guys we need to win this year that we don't have to sign for a long-term contract, that we don't have to bring in for 4 years or 5 years. We got guys that are drafted. We got guys that are going to play out 2, 3 year, 4 year contracts. We got two huge guys that we have to pay, right? And Brock Bowers very, very soon, right? 3 years isn't a long time. Then the next year we have to pay Ashton Genty if we keep him around, if these guys develop. Then you got guys like Darian Porter, Dante Thornton, Jack Beck. If all these guys actually develop this year and become, starters or key players, how are we going to pay these guys down the line if we keep bringing in, drafting big time players? That's going to be a problem also. There's only so much money, right? Salary cap cuts that shit off. So you can't keep hitting actually on the first round every time, or you're going to have a bunch of guys making a lot of money with a bunch of guys that are like on the free agent market right now that Walt says, are there for a reason, which he's right. A lot of these free agents are there for a reason, but some of them we don't know the reason, right? There was let me ask you this. Well, what was the reason Caleb Von Chasen was on the free agent list market last year? Because a lot of teams, like the Carolina Panthers, like the team that drafted him, didn't give him the opportunity. He didn't show out. It wasn't a good fit. They didn't believe in him. right? What was it? Was it because of injuries? Because he didn't pick up the system? Because when Kaylavon Chasen came to the Raiders, he played his ass off for us. That's a guy we got off free agency that nobody wanted. So I agree that they're all there for a reason, but not all of them. There's a lot of teams that have free agents that come in and go get two free agents that take them to the playoffs, that win Super Bowls, right? Saquon Barkley, I mean, not always you're a free agent because you're bad. Not always you're a free agent because your ass wipes, right? There's other reasons guys become free agents. Now, I believe we have the staff and the general manager and the scouts to know what those reasons are. So if they feel like going and getting Jaire Alexander is a good fit for this team, I'm all in 100%. 100%. If they feel like going and trading for Ramsey is the way we need to go, I'm with that. I'm with that. Now, most years, I'd be like, damn, why are we doing this? And I'm with you guys. I feel like we need to develop guys that that we have in the building. There's some guys that showed flashes last year. Sam Webb, Harper, you know, Decamarion Richardson. A lot of these guys showed flashes last year. Do they get the opportunity to flash if we go get a Jaire Alexander? If we bring in a Jalen Ramsey, right? If we bring in those guys, that puts them one notch back. That puts them less reps. That gets them less chance of being seen, less chance of development. If you're not being seen, coaches ain't going to take the time to go work with a guy one on one that's not out there flashing, that's not out there producing, that's not out there, making plays. You're going to get pushed to the back, kind of like, Darian Butler and guys that we've drafted over the years, right? That didn't step up and do shit year in, year out, making the team, hoping this was their year. So, I feel like we have to at least put ourselves in positions to compete. Now, we don't have to win now. We don't have to make it to the playoffs. But if we don't, is that a fail? If I don't want to make it to the playoffs, I don't want to not make it to the playoffs and be one game away, like I said, and have a shitty ass draft again. We've been having solid drafts. We've hit pretty good the last 2 years. I think we got a lot of steals this year, a lot of steals that are going to come in right away, produce for this team. Some guys are going to take a year or two. Some guys have guys in front of them that they're going to have to show they are better than. And I believe we drafted some guys that are going to do that, that are definitely going to do that very, very soon. We already have guys that are doing it now. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. 8 games is going to piss me off, dude. And I'm just going to come on here and rant and scream and cuss and be just irritated and pissed. That's not good enough. It's either be shitty or, battle for a wild card spot, which I think a wild card spot this year in the AFC is probably 10 games. There's a lot of damn good teams. Maybe possibly 9-8. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's good enough to be a wild card this year. Please talk Tonka Hemingway Rebel. He's been on a tear. Excited to get him to get down with the get down. Tonka Hemingway, I believe, makes this roster. Tomorrow we'll break down, roster since we got some time off. No camp shit going on. Unless there's some signings, but I'll give my roster breakdown, who I think is going to make it before camp. And then, we'll see where we're at. We'll see after camp. We'll do another one, of course, when the roster comes out. We might do another one in between there. If guys start making some noise, I might have to change my mind. But I think I pretty much have in my mind who I believe is going to make the roster from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from the videos, I've watched. And from a little birdie. Can't tell you that, little birdie. But Tonka Hemingway, is going to be an even bigger problem if Christian Wilkins can't go, right? If Christian Wilkins is not ready, and I'm not saying he's not going to be, because there are still talks that he's going to be ready to go. It's a huge question mark. It's been silent. The Raiders aren't talking much about anything this year. They kept the draft quiet. They tried to trick us with the Ashton Genty shit, right? They got me. I said when I was like, come on, do you really think he's going to say his son, is going to leave the house and then go get Ashton Genty? Or is it really a trick? Which I said, I believe it's a trick. But then at the end, they still try to, saying, oh, maybe they go tackle. Maybe they go, a different route. Maybe they go defense. So for once, these organizations are feeding reporters bullshit. They're not telling reporters what they're doing. They're being hush hush about everything, right? What's up with Adam Butler? I talked about it, I think Wednesday or Thursday. What's up with Adam Butler? Why isn't he out there? He was, then he's not. What's going on with that shit? If those two guys, aren't out there, then Tonka Hemingway is definitely going to play. He has to. But he's got guys in front of him. Jonah Lalu, the Andre Carter II, who showed flashes last year, showed he could get to the quarterback, showed he could stop the run in the little bit of time he was out there. Does he take that next step in a Patrick Graham defense, for the second year? But I believe Tonka Hemingway makes this defense. I think, his ability to eat up double teams, to stop the run, to be that plug in the middle, is going to be key for us. It's going to be key for us. I think he's going to be out there a lot more than people think, and I'm excited for Tonka Hemingway. And there might be a situation where they have to find somewhere to put JJ Pegues, right? I haven't heard much from JJ Pegues. Are they keeping it quiet? Is he out there balling? Is he showing out? Do they try to keep him as a fullback and play him at defense? There's the possibility at that, right? We might have too many defensive linemen. And they might want to keep one more like a JJ Pegues and have 10 defensive linemen instead of 9, right? There's that possibility. Do you make JJ Pegues your fullback, as a designated position? Something to think about. So Tonka Hemingway, he has been out there making, not making plays because there's no plays to make, but he's out there been making waves, right? He looks damn strong. He looks athletic. Him and a couple people, Tyree's been murdering that poor metal bag machine they've been hitting. I think Tyree flipped it over one time. So these guys have been abusing equipment out there. I hope they abuse the opposing teams, and I can't wait till the pads come on. I want to see a little clickety clack, right? I'm sure we're all waiting for the same thing. Who are these guys when the pads come on? That's what we need to know. Everybody, could look good in shorts, right? You got nobody in front of you, nobody touching you, no resistance unless they got a pad in front of them. So with all that, I think Tonka Hemingway is a lock for this team. That's just me. Daryl is huffing paint. Daryl, why are you huffing paint? That's not good for the brain, bro. That I did that shit when I was a kid sometime. Long time ago. Not very good. Not very good. Unleashed Raider. How are you, Rebel? I'm good. Had a 2-year-old birthday party to go to. My niece turned 2 years old. Shout out to her. Happy birthday. Been a long weekend. Long weekend. How are you doing? Sorry, man. It took so long. Shout out smiley face with the sunglasses, but I got no smiley face or sunglasses. Weird. Okay. Well, appreciate you. You already know. Thanks for the support as always. LOL, you must be sniffing coke over there. I'm not bueno. Okay, this is a family channel. Uh Hero didn't shout out Rebel. What the hell? When he said other podcasts, LOL. What are you talking about? Don't let this Raider Karen cry like a snowflake because he's been hazing the little crybaby, made him cry. What? What? Fucking what? Oh, Lord have mercies. We have a hero in the chat, and I'm way behind because I seen that shit like 3 hours ago. Um, did somebody block him yet? All right. Why is he still talking shit? Y'all haven't fucking blocked him yet? What the fuck? Okay, Furpo with the AOC. Pete wants to win now. Let's get it. Jason Childers, what's good? What's good? Yeah, man. He's Wix Cheese, appreciate you. Get Amari Cooper. Why would you want Amari Cooper back? Choose what's good, what's good. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. All right, where are we at in this? I had to get past all the troll shit. Kid is such a shit stain. Gladdy Raider, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. He says, we are the silver and black, and we are on attack. We are committed to excellence, no matter where the game is. Um, no matter where the game is at. Is up with that? What? Your quarterback who got sat flat on his back? Okie dokie. Um, do you think we get another wide receiver? I think wide receiver is the least of our problems. I don't know why we would. I we have one football. You only keep six wide receivers. I think we have six guys very easily that contribute on this team. I mean, it starts with Jacoby Myers. Then you got Trey Tucker. You got Jack Beck. You got Dante Thornton. You got Tommy Malott. That's five. That's my five. Who's the sixth guy? You have six more guys to choose from, or five more guys to choose from. And that six guy is not going to get a lot of reps. He's going to be a special teams guy mostly. He's not going to be out there all the time. So, do we need another veteran? I don't feel we do. I don't feel we do. If we're talking about letting these guys develop, let's develop the receivers under Geno Smith, right? Let's let them build a connection. You don't bring in a guy like Amari Cooper who went to the Buffalo Bills last year and did absolutely nothing. Nothing. So I mean, what good's he gonna do us? I'm out. I'm out on all those guys. Daryl, where you dropped on your head, it burns. What is going on? It's been dealing dumbasses all day. I'm just trying to chill with Reb. Sorry for calling you a paint over. Y'all motherfuckers are bipolar and shit in here. Oh fuck! He apologized. And you're gonna be a dick. That's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up for real. Um. Oh shit. Okay, can we get another wide receiver and some depth playoffs for sure? Man, I think our offense is stacked, bro. I think our offense is stacked. You know, the only question I have is who's going to be that left and right guard, right? Is pretty much DJ Glaze the spot. I have a concern about DJ Glaze. I'm not going to lie. I've told y'all, you know, but I believe he takes that next step this year. He gets better. I hope to God he does. If he doesn't, we're in trouble because we don't really have anybody, besides Munford. And we've seen Coach over there, playing around with Munford. Does Munford, if he's healthy, take that job back from DJ Glaze this year? You say we shouldn't have gotten Gino, then we shouldn't have went with AOC, but you say Lobby deserves more touches, but yet you think we should have got Alexander. Our QBs need to play. Um, no, that's not what I said at all, Lawrence. I said if we're not in win now mode and we're not trying to win now, then we should have never got Gino. Play AOC. I was saying from what you said, if you're trying to develop guys, develop the guys we have in the building, right? So if that's the way we're going and we're not trying to win now, then no, don't go get Alexander. No, we shouldn't have brought in Gino. And yes, Dylan Lambe deserves more touches if you're trying to develop guys. Now, if you're not in developing guys and you don't think he's worth developing, then you let him go. But if you think he is, which, like I said, I think he makes his roster special teams, punt return, kick return, and, maybe slides into the running back and gets some plays. But what I said, like I said, was if you're trying to win now, then you go get Alexander. You don't have time to wait for these guys to develop. This is the NFL. It stands for not for long. So if you don't go now and try to bring in guys to help win now, then we're wasting our time. Both quarterbacks are good. Just get another help for them. Sniffing bath salt. We got Chandler Jones in the building. Um, Unleashed Raider was good. Bambino was good. Received the membership. Probably not even here, but appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Um, I got you, Chewy. Or Choose. Give me a second. Maybe I'm not bueno. Rub me the wrong way. Although that's what happens when you step on somebody else's toes. I hear you. Happens a lot in this chat. Happens a lot in this chat. Jason Ruiz, what's good? What's good? We don't need a diva that's going to be demanding and that gets the ball like Devontae. We need to spread the love to the players we have in the slot or that we have at the wide receiver slot. I think we have more than a solid group. I think we have a scary group. We have physical guys, guys that can dominate at the line of scrimmage, guys that can win the 50-50 balls, guys that can stretch the field, guys that can make catches, guys that don't drop catches. We have dynamic route runners. We have guys that are intermediate route runners that are getting better, developing running their route tree. We have a well-rounded receiver room, in my opinion. You know, I'm so tired of everybody saying the Raiders are going to be good this year because they went and got Jack Beck and Dante Thornton, and they already have Brock Bowers, and they already got Geno Smith, and everybody overlooks Jacoby Myers, a guy that had over 1,000 yards last year, a dude that had no drop balls, a man that does all the dirty work and that's forget about constantly, which is great because I hope opposing offenses see our roster, look at all the names, and forget about Jacoby Myers too, because he's going to cook your ass all game long. This man last year in a lot of games went up against the number one corner for the opposing team. Now, sometimes they covered Brock, but in a lot of games, it was Jacoby Myers. He was taking that number one guy. He was still getting his yards. He was still had no drops. He made some amazing catches. Go look at Jacoby Myers' 2024 highlights. I'm not allowed to play him on here. They demonetize my shit. The man makes some amazing catches and is one of the most highly underrated wide receivers in the NFL. And definitely the biggest underrated number one receiver in the NFL. I've said it for the last 2 years. Jacoby Myers would be a number one on a lot of teams just because of his work ethic, his character, his personality, his on and off the field achievements, right? He just gets better every single day. He doesn't complain. You never hear him bitch. Never says a bad word about anybody. A guy that everybody wants in the building. You know who's learning from that guy? Jack Beck, Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, Tommy Malott, right? All these guys in the building. That's huge. That's huge for this team. So yeah, I agree. Don't bring in any more divas. I think our wide receiver is stacked. You know the rapper Lil White. You look exactly. I look like Little White. Yeah, I know who Little White is. That's funny as fuck. um, Appreciate you showing to the love to the channel. Talk that shit, Rebel. You can't drop a catch. You drop a pass. Oh, come on, man. Are we being technical? Shout out to Pigs for the correction. Adams was nice, but he also ah, he's also an energy vampire. Yeah, I know a couple of those energy vampires. They're not good. I'm gonna have to change one of my intros to a Lil White song now. Or an outro or something. That's funny as hell, bro. That's funny shit. All right, man. Shout out to the 16 in the building, rocking with your guy. Where we at, man? Comment. Let's join in this chat. Come on. Who do you think the Raiders need to go get? Are we playoff contenders if you go get guy like Jaire Alexander? I believe yes. Yes. I think just one player can make a difference. And if the guy is a fit, you know, if he can play in the system again, he's mainly, a man corner. But with the coaching staff we have, I think they can work something out. I think they can make him a fit. And again, we need the veteran leadership. So, if the price is right, you can't pass on a guy like that. especially when he was making. Hold on, what is this contract? Hold on, I gotta pull this up. Where the fuck? Is it gonna be on here? Corner. Nope, he's not on here yet. Contracts. Damn it. All right. Give me a minute. All right. So he signed 4-year, $84 million contract that include $30 million signing bonus. So that's out the way. Um, $30 million in signing bonus and guaranteed money. The contract was structured to allow for flexibility and potentially a restructured deal if needed. So the contract length 4 years. Um, the average annual value is 21 mil. Notable features: the contract includes a significant signing bonus with multiple roster bonuses that were converted to signing bonus 2023 and 2024. The 2025 and 26 season were structured with non-guaranteed money. Okay, so that's the problem right there. I mean, that says it all, right? He was trying to get that money like Max Crosby, didn't want to play, without that guaranteed money like a Colton Miller. And that's the issue right there. I mean, just reading that tells me that's the problem, right? They were like, all right, I need some more guaranteed money. And they're like, bro, we gave you 30 million, a couple years ago. This goes back to what I said with Max Crosby. If your agent is a greedy piece of shit that wants you to get all your money up front and allows you to play for 2 or 3 years or 2 years without money on your contract, thinking that you're gonna be that guy, and that they're gonna give you a new contract and restructure your shit. That's your bad, bro. Teams shouldn't have to eat that. So that's why guys get cut like that. So no guaranteed money, including base salary, workout bonus, and per game roster bonus, potentially facilitating a restructure or release if needed. So he was obviously released. The release allows the Packers to free up $17.5 million in cap space. The team will also save over 17 mil in dead money next year. So besides the injuries, that's the main result why they got rid of this dude. Now, with the injuries, with not being able to stay healthy, there's not a team in their right mind that is going to sign Jaire Alexander to those kind of numbers. And, the Packers, that's their stupidity, right? They've seen his injury history. He was on their team. They know what it's like. They know what he's done, what he hasn't done, what games he's missed, what he hasn't missed, how hard he works, his effort. They know all that shit. So, with that being said, man, 21 mil, if you could get this dude for a $1 million, a 1 year deal like a Malcolm Kuntz did for 8 to 10 mil, 12 mil, I'm in if he fits the system. That's a big if he doesn't, then shit, move on, because there's plenty of other guys we could get. I already talked about a couple. Who else is out there? Stephen Gilmore is still out there, or did he sign with the Vikings? Yeah, Stephen Gilmore, I believe, is out there. Rasul Douglas, like I said, there's plenty of guys you can. Shaquille Griffin. Oh, he only played 54% of the snaps last year. Ooh, ouch, ouch. Michael Davis only played 12%. There's not a lot of guys that have experience. It's a guy that's been injured all the time that you can probably get on a cheap ass discount because he got released, or trade for a Jalen Ramsey. And I'm just not I'm not with the trade for a Jalen Ramsey thing. Um, since we're talking about it, I mean, since I already got this pulled up, I want to bring up right guard, right guard, man, right guard. What is Henderson making? So Henderson's current APR is less than what we're paying Alex Kappa. It's 4.5 mil. Guarantees last year were 4.5 mil, but he only played 25% of the snaps with the knee injury. But if that man comes back and is half of what he was the last 3 years, he's better than any guard we have on the team, including Meredith. Who else was I talking about? Julian Blackman. His current APY was 3 mil 700,000, and his guaranteed money was 3 mil 190,000. Bro, that's a dude you could pick up for 2 mil probably. 2.5 mil, 1 year guaranteed. Kazir White, 5 mil. His guarantees were 6. If you can get him for 3-4 mil and bring these guys in, bro, this team is playoff bound. I'm telling you, it's only a couple key pieces away. And if we get a shutdown corner, Jack Kinna was good. I thought it stood for the National Football League. What? All right, I got to go back up and read. Oh sweet, know where I was. Got that. Got that. Got that. Got that. Fucking pigs. um, look him up. Oh, I don't have to look up. I know who Little White is. I listen to a lot of country rap. Believe me. My guy Pig says, I hold firm on this roster. Wait to see the cutting floor looks like when teams are pressed to make hard personal decisions. There will be a bunch. That's also true. That's also true. I agree. Could see rivals with the Packers division overpaying a little, like Minnesota. That would be nasty, dude. Jaire Alexander in Minnesota with Byron over there would be crazy. Just crazy. Damn, don't let them over there, man. That's crazy. Hell no. Kenna in the building. So clip one of the biggest Raider comebacks with Hostetler and Tim Brown going off against the Broncos back in the day. Shout out to Jeff Hostetler in the building. Chin's roll will be that. Why does it keep moving? Swift Army Knife. Swift Army Knife. Got it. Pop. Um. There. How about that? That fuck will never be back again. I'm done with that shit. And if it was a bitch boy, then it is what it is. beaming face with smiley eyes. I don't know why I'm not getting none of these pictures. I just get 99 cent USDA, but shout out for help keeping the lights on. It all goes back to making these streams better and trying to find the damn right streaming service. It's like drafting, bro. Trying to find the right streaming service is like the NFL draft. It's hit or miss. It's fucking hit or miss. Nonstop hit or miss. All right, man. I've been on here way too long. I appreciate y'all. Furpo is that piano man. Um, if it was piano man. He is now blocked from my chat. And I know you're listening. But dude, it's the last straw. I'm done with this shit. I'm not gonna do this every flipping night. I'm not gonna cuss on this channel. It's way too early for that. So, if it was Piano Man, bro, quit doing drugs, drinking, whatever the fuck your problem is. Go get help. Check yourself into a rehab or something, my guy. But I told you before, when you message women, especially my ex, talking shit like you did, don't make me blast the shit you fucking posted or told her on my channel, bro. Cause you're a fucking douchebag. It's uncalled for. There's a reason you've been blocked in everybody else's chat. It's not because you're a Chargers fan. It's because you're a piece of shit, bro. That's facts. So stop trolling Raiders chat. Go fucking troll Kansas City Bronco fans, because that's how it's going to be from now on. So take your piano bitch ass the fuck out of Raider Nation, bro. We're done with it. I gave you chance after chance after chance. I was even going to let you come on the show. But when you message Candy the shit you messaged, bro, we done. We're done. So stop messaging my Instagram. Stop messaging my channel. Stop showing up on my shit. I don't give a fuck about your support, bro. That's all facts. So shout out to everybody else that rolls with the chat, that knows how to control themselves. That's not bipolar and doesn't say one thing one day and then come back and tell you you're a piece of shit and your whole family sucks ass and you're garbage and you suck dick for views and whatever else dude wanted to say. So I tried, man. I tried, bro. I didn't want to be that channel, and I'm not that channel. Anybody else want to come on this channel and talk shit and keep it respectable? It's still that channel, right? It's still that channel. You see, I'm not bueno. You see my guy Daryl. They can play, have fun. You know, it is what it is. Some shit just goes too far, bro. Just goes too far. And I try not to get irritated with trolls, but bro, you're just special, dude. You're just fucking special. That's all I can say, my guy. That's all I can say. And yeah, you took it way too far, bro. Way too far. Way too far. So with that being said, I appreciate the rest of y'all rocking with me. This chat will not be so distracted from now on. And I apologize. I apologize for giving the dude chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. So no more chances. No more chances. I'm not a man of chances. And you've got more chances from me than anybody in my life, bro. And you made a fucking clown out of me by doing it, which is why I don't give chances. So shout out. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Raiders. Peace. I'll see y'all tomorrow.